All right, everybody, welcome to a special Sunday night episode of the Survivor Grand Rapids Recap Podcast. It is Dom, your host, your creator, editor, producer, all of the above, here on Sunday night to talk about episode 13 that came out last week, Wednesday. We have a very, very small panel compared to what we usually do, but that should not be an issue because there is a lot to discuss. Please be warned, spoilers ahead for episode 13. And without further ado, please welcome our guest, the eliminated castaway of episode 13, John. John, how's it going?
I'm not doing great, Dom. I really took this hard. Seeing your torch snuffed out does something to a person, but nevertheless, we proceed. I'll say that.
We do proceed. I mean, the athletes adjusted. We proceeded. Your tan line looks to have evened out a little bit.
Well, now I'm just like ghostly pale, but and it's better than what I was rocking with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it turned out good. You being out in the outdoors, that was fun. Yeah, let's hop into it, John. What was it like watching everything back?
So, like the first half of the season, like everything up until like that double tribal, so fun. So fun. We're having a great time. And then I don't know what happened to me out there, but like day 2 on, I was just like cringing horribly at everything I was doing. I don't regret anything. I have no regrets, but I mean, it was fun. It was just weird. Weird seeing the effect that the game took on my mental health the farther we got into it.
That's interesting because you, for me, editing and also out there, you seem to be the most reliably sane person like out there. Not to discredit all of our other castaways, but just the positivity that you were able to radiate in those, day 2 and 3 definitely kept the castaways going as well as the crew. I think everybody was on board with John fan favorite.
I mean, I love Hannah. I was having a great time out there. I will say day 3, thank God I kept it together for the cameras because internally, and we'll get to it, I was going through it, especially this past episode. I was a disaster up here. But I had a wonderful time. So it's hard not to be positive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about that, John, because I think this was a long time coming. You and I have been connected for quite a bit in terms of Survivor for a decent chunk of our friendship. It has been mostly because of Survivor. When my parents like asked me like, oh, how do you know John? And like when people ask me, oh, how John get on the show and that connection, it like we went to high school together, ran in very different circles. You knew a couple players from Dearborn, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we're asking to be on the show, which I have just found out.
Yeah. So I could have been on season like 3 or 4 had things worked out the way I would have liked. So Dom and I mean, were we at high school at the same time? Yes. Dom was out there doing like cross country and track. I was not touching that. You did not see me anywhere that he frequented. But we did have mutual friends. So I, Survivor super fan, saw what Dom was doing. I'm like, oh my God, I want to play that so bad. But obviously I didn't know Dom, but I was very good friends with Jen Lesnow and Santana Davis, former Survivor Dearborn alums. And I kept telling him like, oh, how was that? How was that? Oh my God, I'd love to play. I mean, if he's looking for new players, drop my name. They never did. So I mean, this matchup could have happened way, way sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But fast forward 2015 or 2016.
I think it was like 2016 or 17.
To set the scene, it is like a Gardner White furniture store for a in-person casting call for Survivor. And who is there but Dom? And I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? So, yep. I mean, and here we are.
and that's how it started. So for me, at least, you had your sights set on me for behind the scenes, but I'm glad we got to where we're at. It is one of my favorite kind of full circle moments that, like, I've tried to do the in-person Survivor. You tried to do it, and both of us were like, you know what? Fine, Jeff, we'll do it ourselves. We'll put it on and show you what we're made of.
Okay, but to get behind the scenes of the in-person casting call, at least how it was 10 years ago, they do not set you up for success.
They do not.
The line was wrapped around this furniture store like 2 times over. You're outside in line with, I'm going to be honest, like a bunch of weirdos. A lot of those people in the line were weird. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And then once you got in the store, they gave you a number, all that super fun. And then you're waiting for like another 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God we did, because, Dom and I got to bond. But then all that waiting, and you are in front of a camera for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, bye. So yeah, who needs CBS? I've got Survivor GR.
Yes, I've been to 2 of those, and the first time I literally like froze. I remember Alyssa from Survivor Dearborn came with me, and she had the camera people laughing, and I like got in my head. I was like, I have nothing to say that's funny. Like, I have absolutely nothing that's like funny. And I like got up there and I, botched it. And then we went to another one and I felt pretty confident. Did not get a call back. So we're stuck to the auditions for now. We're stuck to submitting the tapes, but yeah, we're here. Survivor Grand Rapids, Bad Blood, finally got you on. And you came in, John, not knowing anybody, correct? You didn't know any single person from the cast.
I knew not from the guy. I knew you, and I knew camera person and alum supreme Charlie Rich, who, again, at that point, I mean, I really hadn't talked to him since like 2015, 2016. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was going in. I was so nervous. I was like driving to Grand Rapids from Dearborn at the time, on the phone with my mom, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know any of these people. I don't know what I'm walking into here. It worked out. It was an amazing time. But yeah, I went in completely blind. Mm-hmm. And for that entire week leading up to it, I have a very limited social battery. So I was not talking to anybody. Like, friends tried to text me. I'm like, I need to save this energy because I'm about to go on a farm in the middle of nowhere. So I like completely isolated myself for a week just so I would have the social energy to like not be like sullen and hostile in a corner.
That's a very unique strategy. I have not heard. I'm glad that at least some people are mentally prepping to be in the backyard, because it is a very draining experience. At least the filming side of things. It's a very rewarding experience. But that reward doesn't come to fruition until, your torch is snuffed or you're in that final 3 and the votes are being read. And honestly, until those episodes start to air and you get to be able to relive it all. So I haven't been able to be rewarded on this season until this finale is released. So I'm very eager to be able to get that out so that I can finally reap the rewards of this amazing season that I feel like we have put together. But John, since we're talking behind the scenes and pregame, do you want to fill us in on your tent that you brought? Because I think that was one of the most underrated, moments of that weekend. That was so funny. So fill us in on your tent.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, so, we all get there the night before, which was very helpful because I think it sort of set some of the, not knowing anybody, being there the night before and getting able to meet some people, helped you jump in a little bit more. Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I had no clue what I was walking into. So I'm like, I'm going to bring a tent. I don't know if you're going to let me sleep inside at all. So I had this like tiny little, I mean, it said 2-person tent. It barely fit one person in it. So small. I named it John DeRosa. The night of the big storm, every single other tent flew off into the corn. I mean, Tyler was telling me he was sleeping on the porch and like one of the big tents flew past. So all of them were decimated, except for the lone survivor of John DeRosa, the little tent that could.
Mhm.
Long story short, that tent is still there, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because we ended pretty late, and I wanted to sleep in my own bed so bad. I'm sorry, you are not keeping me in that farm one more day. I had a great time. I was not doing it, so
Mhm.
I left the tent. I'm sorry, but I think it's happier there than it would have been in my basement, So
I feel like that was a metaphor for how we were to expect you to do on that season, you know?
no, no one thought.
Yeah, no, I mean that tent stayed strong despite the mighty winds blowing everything down, and just the fact that are you an outdoorsman, John?
That's a loaded question. Theoretically, yes. I love being in nature. In like practical measures, not at all. I mean, people saw my essentials, my comfort items I brought. One was a mosquito net that I put over my face, which I mean was not shown, was a game changer. Everyone was jealous of my mosquito net. The bugs that night too, where we were like open air, the bugs were bad, and we sprayed, like bug spray. I would not have made it without my little like bug net. And then my other one was I I can't live without caffeine. It is an unfortunate thing. So in theory, yes, I love nature. I was woefully unprepared to be outside.
I had no idea about the mosquito net. That was news to me. Nobody filled me in on
You didn't
that.
see it?
No, either you got rid of it
I can't believe I'll have to
before
go
we
get
had
it
the
at some point.
cameras rolling. Um,
Well, I was also an early riser.
mhm, mhm.
I didn't
Um,
sleep.
so yeah, John, going back, so we had the pregame, and then we start the twist that you are paired with the person that you walked in on. Survivor superfan John, I'm assuming that I did not pull the wool over your eyes. Were you surprised that Luke was going to be your partner?
Oh well, yes, I was, because I mean I didn't know who was going to be my partner at that point. I didn't know Luke. I'm gonna be so real. I was I was a little apprehensive about Luke, just because before, so okay, night one, I get to talk to like Hannah, which instantly cemented my love for her. So nice. And then I also talked a lot with Magingo. So I'm like, all right, these are the two people I'm looking out for. And maybe we'll team up. And I noticed Luke, but like visually, Luke is the type of person who I don't really get along with in my everyday life. Like people who go to the gym, and like dude bros, stuff like that. I mean, I can get along with anybody. That type of person is not my first choice. I'll just say that. Luckily, though, I mean, as we saw, Luke is super cool, and was down to be my bestie in the game. So I was I was surprised. I was apprehensive, when we were walking out together in that the season premiere, trying to crack jokes. I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
I know I don't look athletic, but I bring something to the table here. So
Yeah.
I was nervous, but I mean it ended up for the best. So
Did you, yeah, I guess like walk us through that premiere. So we announced that you are going to be in partners and the tribes are divided. You're on Vendetta, and then you immediately have to vote somebody out. Did you, we saw Drew, announce to everybody that it wasn't going to be a vote out. What were you thinking in that moment?
I mean, I too did not think it was going to be a vote out. I tried to minimize what a big fan I am. I don't know if it worked. I don't know, maybe it did. Um, No, I was stressed. One, I didn't know anybody's name. The only person's name I knew was Hannah, and as I just said, I loved Hannah, so no way voting for her. I immediately assumed it was going to be me. That's just,
Hmm.
first impressions. I voted Chase because I think I looked over at Allie's
Board.
paper and
Yeah.
I just was like cheating off my partner. Like, I didn't know anybody's name. So I
Yeah.
just put Chase and I feel bad. I mean, I got him voted over to exile. So, um, yeah, I mean, at that point, we had been standing in the cornfield as everyone is walking out for maybe like 30 minutes, an hour.
It was a
It was
long
hot.
time.
It was
Mhm.
hot, people. The corn sweat, no joke. It was also muddy.
Yeah.
So I was excited to like get it going, but I was already the elements were getting to me. Um, so yeah, I felt so bad because again, I didn't know anybody's name, and then it ended up being him going. So sorry, Chase.
It's okay. I think Chase has gotten over it at this point. um, I what was that? Because we saw that kind of in those first couple episodes that you came in with like that fear of being on the outs because of potential challenge liability, or just people might put you on the outs either from not for knowing anybody. So uh talk us through that, and then when did you finally kind of start to come into your own almost?
I mean, so yeah, it was like the not knowing anybody. Had I had like connections, I probably wouldn't have been that worried because I'm like, oh, they know me, they know I'm loyal and a good friend. But
Yeah.
when you don't know anybody and a vote is on the line and you have nothing to go off of after you just saw John run up and down a hill.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are people gonna go off of? So yeah, I mean that was my concern was just am I gonna be able to charm these people before they see me run?
Mhm.
Um, so that was my worry. Honestly, though, what sort of changed it over, so you know, um, was getting voted out over to the yellow tribe.
Yeah.
Um, and Tyler, I mean, Tyler brought me in right away, and I felt like, oh, because here's the thing on green, nobody really was like coming up to me to like form an alliance. Like Grace and Adrian were like very clearly a pair from the jump. James was, everyone loved James. And so like groups were forming, and I very much felt like, all right, I'm not the first boot because, we've got some other people who we did vote out first, but
Yeah.
um, I knew my life was not long on that tribe. So had I not luckily gotten voted out at the swap,
Yeah.
I would not have made it past that next tribal. I would have been well, I guess the next tribal was the joint one, so I probably would have made it out there. But the one after that, gone.
Yeah.
So,
It
so yeah, it
was
was kind of
I was worried for you. I was worried for you for a little bit. It was definitely a bummer to see the Vendetta tribe lose, but I kind of agree that it was best case scenario for you to go to the other tribe with vengeance. Uh, you enter that tribe, you are entering in the midst of whatever drama is going on between Josie, Tyler, trying to think who else, Zoe, like just people that had, their own narratives, like um, those strings, in like murder shows or documentary true crime shows, like those were all over the place over at Vengeance, trying to connect the dots of who was working with who was against who. And you enter and you're like, hello, everybody. Like, I'm on your tribe. Like, it was at a point where I had to confirm with Vengeance, like, no, guys, John is actually on your tribe, because they were coming up with new stories of like what you were doing over there. And like, I guess what was that strategy entering Vengeance?
I want to go backwards so quick. So with that first exile vote, who did you think was going to get voted? Were you surprised? I mean, what were you with that plus? Who did you see getting voted out to exile first?
What do you mean? In episode 1?
Yeah, the premiere.
Okay. I had no idea. I really did want to stir the pot on that one. So I was actually very surprised that Zoe got sent to exile. I thought that Zoe, I thought Zoe was going to kind of be like a Jen almost, where like come in and like people were going to like rally around the returner. Mostly because I feel like Zoe entering the season really didn't have like this gamer persona to her. And I felt like the Vengeance tribe was, I mean, I didn't think they were going to be the strategic tribe. So I thought they were going to like kind of want those personalities around. And I thought that maybe somebody a little bit quieter, somebody a little bit more detached, like Samantha maybe, would be sent to Exile Island. I really wasn't sweating it because I knew that they were just going to exile. But I was concerned when Chase got sent to exile, just because Chase is a friend. And I knew that Chase was going to have like maybe a difficult time like reassimilating back into that group. Zoe's played before. Zoe knows how to do it. So like I really wasn't too concerned about Zoe. I was concerned about Chase coming back and figuring that out. Green Tribe, you guys were all over the place. Vendetta was all over the place with their votes. And I was kind of surprised that Chase was the boot just because of his Grand Rapids connections. But I don't really have an answer for who I thought would be going to there. I would maybe say you or Drew just because of not knowing anybody.
I was so sure it was going to be me, so I agree with you. But yeah, you really threw a curveball at us right out of the gate. But to go back to your question, so as you saw in the video, I was so excited to get voted out because again, I knew my life was not long for the Vendetta tribe. Cameras didn't really pick it up, and I know everyone's going to be like, "Oh yeah, sure, John," but as a fan and as a fan of Australian Survivor, where this twist does happen, I had an inkling. I'm like, I don't think we have enough cameras that I'm going to send someone home. So I wasn't sure. My thought process, I was like kind of whispering to the group. I'm like, guys, whatever happens, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. Just as like it can be me. Half of that I was like 75% sure it wasn't going to be an elimination. The other 25% was, well, if I get voted home now, I can go home and sleep in my own bed. So luckily I was right. And again, everyone could be like, oh yeah, sure you thought that, John. But I did think that. So yeah, I was so happy to go over to Vengeance. Because one, they had never gone to Tribal. So I knew that nothing was set in stone over there. And the other thing too is like, they'd never gone to Tribal and it was an even number of people. So in the scenario where it is like two clear divides, I am now a swing vote. Yeah. And I know, obviously there's always a chance that going over to a new tribe that's been winning and getting along, that like the new person is immediately going to be a target. But I really didn't think that, just because, immediately the vibes, I walked in as they were, holding the Inquisition on Josie after exile. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on nobody's radar. Like, they've got bigger fish to fry. So I was ecstatic. I'm like, new breath of life in this game. So I was pumped.
That's one of my favorite like scenes probably of the season, is you coming down and Josie's like mid like truth lie, like, or a lie truth. I don't even know what she was doing. We've talked about it, but yeah, she was telling her truth, I guess. And you threw him for a loop. You come down. I think it was Josh, and like everybody else was like, he's got to be here to like spy on us. Like he's not part of the tribe. And they're like, well, we heard a cheer. Like that can't be like, and I'm like, here I'm editing. I'm like, guys, like they voted somebody out. Like that's the anti-reward. Like you don't like they're still in the game. Like they're happy someone's in the game. So just the whole mindset of vengeance, not even going to tribal yet, not even the concept of somebody being sent home, and then you coming in like having weathered all of day one up to that point. Like I think it's such a juxtaposition of where we're at in the game, or where the two tribes were at in the game. So yeah, it was an interesting round, and then Grace goes home the following round. So R.I.P. Grace.
That was okay. So Grace going home, my thing. I'm like, all right, they, the Green Tribe, even though I gave them the go ahead, they still voted me out,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tell all their secrets. So the first thing I'm like, Grace and Adrian, their pair, everyone over there, Grace and Adrian, that's the dynamic duo.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that Grace immediately gets voted out, I'm like, now everyone's gonna think I'm a liar.
Yeah.
I mean, little did we all know it was shenanigans, but so yeah, I mean, Grace getting voted out, one huge shock. Because I don't know about you, but like she is someone I saw going very, very far. Like who I'm sure you've talked about who were like who are your three? Like get go, you're casting the game. Who are you predicting in that final tribal?
Well, I hate to rehash it, but I think Grace was my winner pick, and I know Grace wears that pretty heavily. So, Grace, if you're listening, do not take this to heart. All is forgiven. Who knows? Maybe you'll have your redemption. I had a feeling Aubrey was going. Just the vibe of playing Miss Sydney. When she sat down for her interview, 19 years old, like this has been talked about too. Like Aubrey's 19, and she is like so well spoken and like had a really great view on the game. Like it's John, we exist as like Survivor fans in a very meta way. It's like a blessing and a curse, to be able to talk Survivor as in depth as we do, and like know the people, know the games that you're modeling after. Aubrey like watches a season for fun and like goes on to the next one, goes on to the next one. Like she knows the people, she knows that, but like she just like enjoys the game. And I feel like that like separates the super fans and then just like a fan. And I think that is her biggest strength, because she is not replicating anything. That is just raw game talent right there. And I think what we've seen so far is like part of, I wish I could say that I called Aubrey playing this good, but like I just guessed that she would be at the end because of her sister. So I would put Grace and Aubrey. And then I don't know. I was thinking maybe a Grand Rapids person. I was thinking Tyler. I did not think Tyler was going to play the game that he ended up playing. Tyler like went full mafia man, and I thought he would be a little more slick with it, but he went full like, I'm assembling an army and like you're either with me or against me. I thought he was gonna like divide and conquer a little bit. So I those were my three that I was thinking would be the big power players of the season.
I mean, amazing choices. I remember, my first gut instinct, I really thought James was gonna go to the end. I mean, so his going out was so sad for me. Like, he was so cool. So after the first challenge where you made us, run up a hill, great of you. My number one fear, immediately go run up that hill, John.
John, if it makes you feel any better, that is like probably, we had multiple challenges that I might have regretted this season. That is the one that I regret. Like I remember, like I was living at the farm at the time, and I would just run up the hill and I'd be like, this is a great spot for a challenge. And then we had to do that in the sun, in that 96-degree heat, one after the other. Like the balls were rolling down the hill. I was just like, this is how we're starting this. Yeah, that was a mess.
I legitimately thought I was gonna like pass out and like they're gonna have to medevac me. So there was
I almost did. I like that first like round was like 3 hours, and like It was because things just were not going the way that we needed them to go. And that was part on production for not calculating it all, but like also just the cards that you're dealt. That's reality TV, I guess. You gotta do it.
Yeah. We got back though to our camp, and I'm laying under the tree, like clammy face, like hyperventilating. James is like, no. He's he's laying next to me. He's like, man, how cool is this? We're out here doing this. I'm like, uh-huh. In my mind, I'm like, oh my God, don't pass out. Don't pass out.
That's so funny. I know what clips you're talking about.
It was so fun. I mean, he was so cool. And he was the whole Survivor package. I really, really thought he was gonna make it, had it not been for the mass tribal shenanigans.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite episodes.
It is a great
let's get it. I mean, the fallout after that episode. First of all, editing wise, great. The drone. Whose drone was it?
Bradley. I call him Bradley, but full name for the podcast.
Absolutely stunning drone work. Like all of us marching in with our torches. I was chilling. I'm like, it's not gonna be me. So I didn't care.
Yeah.
But we saw a portion of it, but I mean, that tribal erupted. We sit down. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead.
You're good. We're there anyway.
We sit down. I sit next to Hannah. Well, actually, Hannah came up to sit next to me. And she leans over to me, and the cameras didn't pick it up, but she whispers, I'm not going to swear because I don't know what the audience is, but she whispers like, we're going to stir this stuff up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you're going to stir it up? And then sure enough, we see that every single Vendetta member goes up and finds their partner and drags them, and it's like, you're voting with us. It felt like not to be reductive, but like wives like dragging their husbands by their ear, like, this is how it's gonna be. That's how it felt watching it. What did you suspect that live of a tribal was gonna happen?
I was hoping for it. I did not think it would be that big. Like, I did not think that it would be that big of a pivotal move. But like during the game design, everything was meant to build to something, to build these relationships and build them cross tribe. So you being sent over to the other tribe was intentional, because I wanted to, have this potential storyline of like, somebody was sent over. Are they going to stick with that tribe bond, or are they going to flip completely? And then meanwhile, we have all these blood bonds. Some have gone to exile together, some have not. Like, some are going back and forth. And then like we had an exile trip where Tyler gets his steal a vote advantage, which is actually a steal a vote and not an extra vote, which is a 3-point conversion compared to a 2-point conversion. And so all of these twists and stuff, I was like laying out for hopefully an eruption, and I got it. So, I mean, I put my producer hat on, and I put my Survivor fan hat on too, because I really was hoping that we would get something that was that big and that memorable, because it was our largest tribal. It was one of the biggest things that we've ever attempted. We had a storm on the horizon, so we would see like lightning out in the distance. We were already running over time, and like it was just like, all right, let's do it. And it was electric in the air from the lightning and from the game. Like you could sense something big was happening. One tribe, like it's the stuff that you just can't write. You can't write this stuff. Like, one tribe has been losing all day, and they're doing a Hail Mary, getting up at tribal and trying to force the hands of their partners in the game. And it worked, except for Carrie exchanging an idol. Like, and that's just the game. That's the game. So like, yeah, I mean, I would say that I planned it all, but like, you can't plan it to the extent that it is. You can only lay out the pieces.
The cast in general, this is the type of gameplay I love, because you've got a mix of, people like me and whoever who, know the meta of or whatever. But then you've got people who have never seen the show, like Adrian, and then you get the casual viewers like Aubrey, like the like different perspectives on strategy that come into it
Yeah.
are so fun to watch. Because like, not to rag on New Survivor, you can predict pretty exactly what's going to happen. I mean, and
Mhm.
people are overthinking things, so just being able to go into this with like people are just playing and they're not overthinking it, they're just
Yeah.
going for it. So fun. I mean, truly great cast.
I agree. I mean, I think between this and Fresh Meat, like I hate to brag, but like I mean, I'm a big Survivor fan. I think Fresh Meat um and Bad Blood are on par, if not better, than some of these new era seasons. That's my
No, and say it. You should say it. Say
yeah
it louder for the people in the back.
yeah.
I mean, it truly is. They need to start going back to like pulling people off of the street and
Mhm.
throwing them on an island because
Yeah.
you get like totally out of the box stuff. No one's like producing themselves. They're just going for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that tribal, so fun. Just as like being a part of it and like watching, I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Mhm.
But then we get back and that little circle with the yellow tribe
It's
was
the
so
Inquisition
funny.
part 2.
It was so funny. Just because I mean Josie obviously is like, okay, so everybody voted for me. And then you've got Tyler going on about the advantages.
Yeah.
Um, and then at
And then
one point,
all meanwhile, I don't mean to interrupt, but all meanwhile, the Vendetta tribe is eating their Joey's reward as like it's pitch black out and we have like a flashlight over them, like here's your reward. And they're like, oh well, there's so much food here. There's literally like 5 of us. Like so
well, they brought the leftovers to us, which
yeah, they did. They did.
so that was the other thing. Like we're having this big, kerfuffle, and then I think I just remember like Aubrey and Adrian walking over with like the little platter of chicken tenders. I just remember laughing. I think you can say I'm like actually laughing at these interactions because it
Yeah.
is so awkward. Um, it's just like, and again, I knew my head was not on the chopping block. Josie doesn't know me from Joe Schmo on the streets. I'm like, she's not going to be mad at me. So just being able to watch this fallout, it was so awkward. It was so funny.
It was
Great way to cap off night one.
it was good. It was good. Yeah, I mean that anything more to cover on day one? We kind of did a good summary of it.
Yeah, that is like it really just the weather was horrific.
Mhm.
But no, I mean, capping that off was so fun. Day fun. I mean, yeah, day one was day fun. Um, and then we had the storm, and I'm terrified of storms. That
Yeah.
is my like, that's my secret fear since I was a child. I hate storms. So I internally was panic. So we're in the garage, and it was a million degrees in that thing. So sleeping
Mm.
on concrete. I am going into day two with very little sleep.
Yep. Well, you
So we open up on day two, and it's me sitting in the hatch of my car, like looking like I just got run over, like sipping a warm Red Bull.
yeah.
Um,
That was a tough day. That was a tough night. I was up till 3 o'clock. I don't know if I've told this story. But yeah, I had just gotten ready for bed and like the front door slams open and it's like Zoe and Tyler and Sam and they come in. They're like, there's tents blowing around out there. And like, I'm like, all right, I got to go full Jeff mode. We're going to have an evacuation. And so the Vendetta tribe's in the pole barn. You guys are in the garage. Everybody's sleeping on the front porch and like branches are flying everywhere. Tents are flying everywhere. I have to run outside and I got to get a tent. I'm like shirtless. I can't find my shirt because the entire living room that I'm sleeping in is like covered, like bodies everywhere of crew. And so Tyler helps chase those down. He was a friend at that time. There was no game going on.
this was outside of it. Yeah.
This was survival. This was this was outside the game. And then I finally get back in the living room, and then I get a call from Hannah in the garage, and she's like, Dom, like, we're really scared in here. Can we like sleep in the basement? And I was like, okay. So I get back up, and I go, and I open up the back door, and they all run in and close the door, and I get back in bed. And then I get another call from Brendan Godin, who's been sleeping out in the tent. And Brendan from season 1, 3, and 4, one of the Godin brothers, goes like, hey Dom, I'm sleeping in the tent outside and it's collapsing in on me. Can you come help? And I'm like, all right. So I get back up again and I help get this tent like figured out. So yeah, it was definitely a tough night. I think I went to bed at like 3:30, and then I wake up at 7 to start getting things done. So yeah, it was a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, but it felt the energy day 2 starting off felt like fresh. And I
Mm-hmm.
really felt like gameplay wise, we were ready to hit the day.
I think everybody was, yeah.
Because I mean, day 2 was really Tyler's day. He ran that day from sun up to sundown.
Yep.
Um, I mean, some of my favorite gameplay from anyone ever is watching Tyler. If I have
Really?
one regret, yes. Oh my God, I loved watching Tyler. I mean, if I have one regret this season, it's not playing more like that. Like the dramatics and like the aggression of it. I mean, not that he was like aggressive, but like it was assertive, and oh my God, it was one fun to watch in person, but then watching it back on screen, I'm like, he's genius. I mean, so let's set the scene for day 2. We've got 100 swaps, but what stays the same is I'm with Tyler that entire day. Tyler, to me, watching back was interesting because I was much closer to him in his mind than I thought we were in real life. I never assumed that I was gonna be up in his ranks just because I'm like, well, he's got 1,000,001 companions in this game, so sure, he's using me for a vote now because he obviously I'm on the out, so he's bringing me in. But finding out I was his 4th placer,
Yeah.
which
You were his
I mean,
fallen
so
angel.
looking back, I wish I had picked up on that. But so spending the whole day with Tyler, so fun. Watching it and playing with him, the most fun. I mean, one, he's just super cool and super nice. Yeah, his gameplay, love. I mean, starting off with the Adrian vote, bananas. Um, I was fine voting out Adrian. No offense, Adrian. Love you. You did vote me out. So I was like, Green Tribe, if your name isn't Hannah, I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyler switching that up last second, I was just like, what's going on? Like, I mean, yeah,
What
day 2 was the Tyler show.
what do we
Why did you put so many swaps? Why did you do that to us? I
to
was
keep
so mad.
everybody on their toes? I feel like everybody was coming in like watching fresh meat, and they were like, this is how the game's gonna go. And I kind of got annoyed by that because too many people in fresh meat were like, Dom's gonna merge at 13. Like they had my number. And like everybody was doing that this season, going into the season. Like they would sit down and they would tell me like what they were, looking forward to and stuff. So I had to keep them on their toes. They were ready to look for idols at challenges, and I was like, well, Zoe's got that covered. So I mean, it was just a different season. It was a new season, and I really wanted to kind of differentiate it so that if and when we end up doing another season, that no one's going to know what I'm up to. Like part about producing a show is keeping them on their toes, or else you're going to end up like I don't know, New Era.
Exactly. We're gonna get to the idols because I've got a bone to pick with you with that one too.
All right, then.
But what stands out for me for day 2, the first thing I think of is Tyler throwing the challenge.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
Um,
what are your thoughts on that?
Again, the cameras, I think just because a lot of this happened so quietly, I don't think it properly picked up. But yeah, Tyler comes to Eli and I. He's like, I'm going to throw the challenge. And I'm like, why? Someone coming from Vendetta who just lost everything. I'm like, why would we do that? We're winning. Um, but Tyler's like aura, like the mist he had in that game, no one was coming after him. Like we talk about it down the line. Um, so yeah, he's like, this is what we're doing, and Eli and I are like, okay, boss. Like,
Okay.
but one of the funniest moments also out there, the funniest moment for me of day two, Eli and I are standing there blindfolded as they're running this challenge, and we're whispering to each other. I'm like, Eli, did you want to throw the challenge? He's like, no. Did you want to throw it? I'm like, no. Why are we doing this? So yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess I really didn't have a choice to go along with it because I was blindfolded. No, I did not want to do that. I want to win. You know, tomfoolery is afoot. Take the
That's
safety when you can.
oh, I gotta find the question. Because Hannah, our co-host, is in the comments. She wondered your thought on the dice roll exile that you had to do. It was one of her least favorite.
Oh, the little flop
A little
thing.
flip.
I forgot
Yeah.
that happened. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be so honest. I forgot that happened. I'm watching it back. I'm like, oh right, that yeah. No, I was happy for it. I was the only reason I was upset is that it wasn't an idol. And I'm like, oh great, we get a team advantage that we're immediately flushing down the toilet because Tyler wants to throw it for whatever reason. So yeah, I
Yeah.
was not yeah, I was not pleased. Like, guys, I just risked my vote to get us this advantage, and we're not using it.
So Tyler explains that he's doing this because of Josh, because Josh got blindsided at the last tribal council. Were you also kind of keeping peripherals on Vendetta of what they were up to?
I'm going to be so real with you. I was it's probably to a detriment. I was so tunnel vision this entire game. My my thoughts were really only on what was right in front of me. Um, so as you can see, I mean, there's a clip in this last episode. I'm not thinking about idols. I'm not thinking about the blood bonds because the other thing too is like I was so ignorant to everybody else's pre-existing relationships that I'm just like I can't sit here and try to parse this out. I don't have time. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to take everything at face value and focus on what's in front of me. Because immediately, I mean, with the Chase vote out, Hannah really did not want Chase to go. I did not know they were good friends. So I'm like, why do you want him to stay? So after that, when I found out they were good friends, I'm like, you can't even just go for it. So yeah, I was not paying attention to Vendetta. I could care less who got voted out over there.
I think
So
that's the
I
way to do it.
yeah.
I mean, I think like you can have fun with like, oh, this might have happened, like theorizing. But I think that ended up being some of Tyler's detriment of like assuming and saying like this is what's happening over there. Like Samantha, for example, was like had to have been solid with Josh, and she was like one of the first to flip, and Zoe had to be solid with Josh. So like, what's happening over there? So like all of these assumptions, like Tyler said on the podcast when he was on here, that it was a lot of confirmation bias where he would come up with these like claims and then like somehow down the line they would end up being somewhat correct or fully correct, and he would just operate the rest of the game with that assumption. And I feel like that there's a lot that can be like, benefited if you're like calling shots and you're like, all right, like I'm going to get this person before they get me. But I mean, if you don't have that clear mind, then like, yeah, I feel like there's a balance of being tunnel visioned and also being like aware of things. And we saw you get some information with your exile trip with Luke. So could you kind of talk about that, about your trip with Luke, and maybe summarize that a little bit?
This was one of my better strategic moments that I think whoever was doling out the points that episode did not take into consideration. Because I had a strategy with this. So Luke, to my surprise, because again, Luke didn't talk to me when I came over to Vengeance. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. So when he chose me to go on X hour, however it happened, I decided, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play up that I am totally cut off. Because at that point I had Tyler and Eli and Allie, and I felt pretty good.
Yeah.
But I was not letting him know that. So I was really tugging on Luke's sympathy because he's a very, very nice guy. So I'm like, yeah, I'm alone. Like I could go at any minute. Um, blah 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 blah. And as we see, this came up to be a boon.
Yeah.
Because sure enough, when he gets the chance to save somebody, he's like, send John. That's going to throw a wrench in their plans. Meanwhile, I'm like, ha 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 ha. Like, I was
Good
never
luck,
going home that
Tyler.
tribal.
What?
Yeah. I was never going home that tribal.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that because I messed with his mind. And I planted those seeds of, I'm alone. I could go any minute.
Yeah.
I mean, had I known where his mind was at, because we did that holder steal challenge, had we been able to talk about it, I could have walked away from that challenge with an idol. But both of us were like, oh yeah, let's be nice, hold. And then right after, I'm like, I wanted you to take it. He's like, oh, I wanted you to take it. I'm like, great, neither of us have it.
Yeah.
So it was a good little plant the seeds. I vaguely remember he told me information about what was happening over there. And again, my tunnel vision, it was like in one ear, out the other. I'm like, yeah. Who cares? But then I came back to the tribe and I'm sure I told them something. But yeah, I was so focused on what was in front of me. Was not even thinking about what was happening in the backyard.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that was one of the strongest moments and also definitely one of the turning point conversations of the game. You had Luke, who was so anti like relationships, and Tyler, and you were in on a lot of those relationships, both with Tyler and then connected with Hannah too. So I think that was a very, very pivotal conversation, which eventually leads to our merge vote. But yeah, any other pre-merge discussion we want to do before we hit the
yes.
Yeah, what?
I need to set the scene. All right, so we're gonna get into my big moment, but I need to set the scene.
Okay.
So before I go to exile for my John's big adventure, there's a scene that was not included. I don't know if it was filmed or not, but Eli, Samantha, and I were sitting on the porch talking. Merge is looming, so we're talking. Samantha is trying to sell us on Tyler. I'm in because again, I'm seeing Tyler run the show. And I don't think I'm that high up in his rankings. So I'm like, he's going to discard me like that in my mind. So that conversation, I'm like, yes, let's do it. And Eli was very, very hesitant. Eli's like, I kind of want to keep him around a little bit longer. And like Samantha's like, well, it makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So that was the conversation that was most fresh in my mind was Eli does not want Tyler out.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to get him out at this point. No shade to him. He just was running the game. So we go to exile for the third or fourth time. And my nightmare part 2, I am confronted with yet another running challenge. Listen, anybody else probably would have been like, John, that was nothing. And you were very kind to me in that edit because there were times I'm running back and forth with these Connect 4 things, and I remember I brought the wrong color I think multiple times. Yes. And thankfully you took those out because I'm like, there's only 2 colors. How am I forgetting? But like my head was so baked from the sun, and I don't run. I think running is like paramount to self-harm. Like, why are we doing that to ourselves? You all run those 5Ks and those half marathons. I'm like, why are you doing this? You don't love yourself enough.
Yeah.
So now I'm running, and who was with me? It was John and
Delano?
No.
Mark?
Yes. Okay. It was John and Mark. And they're both, I mean, we bonded out there. Because they saw me.
Bad. Yeah.
They saw me like going through it. But yeah, I was just like, this is it, John. At this point in the game, emotions were much higher than they had any right being. listen, are we only out there for 2 days at that point? Yes. Are we all going through this in a lighthearted mood? Like, yeah, we're in a backyard. Yes. That being said, emotions really got turned up. I mean, we're tired, we're not eating, the sun's baking us. And like you get very sucked in to the world of the game. Um, so like my emotions were just running high, at least for me and for other people as we see. Um, so yeah, I'm like, I've got to do it. Like my big melodramatic speech. I'm like, it's time to take the risk. Um, and
Which
I
is
do the
cool.
challenge.
I love it. I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and not do it. That's so boring.
Hmm.
Um, and if I lose my vote, they're not going to vote me out. Tyler doesn't want me out. I'm not a threat at this point. Um, so yeah, I will say I was very disappointed again that it wasn't a normal idol.
You didn't like the
I
safety
know
choice?
I say in my confessional that I'm like, oh, this is no drawbacks. But internally, I'm like, man, I really wish this was a less complicated idol.
Yeah.
Because it also had very limited times I could use it. I really could only use it for those next 3 tribals.
Yeah.
So yeah, Luke sends me my little seeds I planted earlier, worked out in my favor. I get back, Samantha is gone. RIP Queen. I mean, I want to give my pre-merge MVPs once we finish out
Okay.
that tribal.
Put a
Yeah. So yeah, I am back and I've now got this thing. Um, and immediately me walking from exile, there's a drone shot. I was in like full blown psychosis at that point. I'm like whispering to myself, I'm like, you're gonna win this. You're gonna win this. You're gonna win the game. You can do this. You got this, baby. Like full blown, just like out of my mind at that
Yeah.
point. And then there was a lot of downtime while the double tribals were happening. So I was just like hanging out, like deluding myself with
I
plans.
to go back and give another shout out to our Exile crew. Like Exile was insane. Like both like during production and post production. Like a lot of things just like did not go the way I was expecting it. And I think the crew did a phenomenal job out there. I have to give a shout out to Mark, John, Delano, Noah, all these people that went out to Exile Island and stood out there. I think it took till day 2 where like they were out there through the whole time. Like like they would stay out at Exile, and then day 2, I was finally like, once you like wrap up the challenge or whatever shenanigans we're doing out at Exile, like have them come home and stay in the basement because like this is just torture. Like I had to like run from the property down to Exile to do my little spiels and make sure things are doing okay. And I was exhausted, and each trip was so hard. So like you going out multiple times, poor Carrie having to go out multiple times. Like I think Exile Island is. I'm very grateful that we did it. I think it made some phenomenal television that we've never been able to do before, but I'm retiring it. I feel like.
Thank God. It was so far away. And then, like, I don't know, walking on the train track, it was treacherous. And the challenge itself was treacherous. So I'm running alongside the corn.
Yep.
I'm going to say it. Originally, the things were on the train tracks. I was having such a hard time walking on the train tracks just because there's so many little rocks. So I look at them, I'm like, guys, can we please move this down to the corn?
I had no problem with it. That was okay.
Thankfully, well, except by one of the buckets, there was this like little piece of fencing that was like chopped. So it was like a spike. And at one point, I fully just like, and thankfully, like the rubber in the bottom of my shoe was thick enough that it didn't go all the way through. But John saw that, and I could see him panic, and suddenly he moved the things like out of the way. And you may notice editing it, but he like moves the things away from this like fencing spike because I almost fully like impaled my foot through it. So yeah, that challenge was more treacherous than anyone could have possibly known.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is there's so many things outside of our control, and like I wish we had the capacity for a lot of these challenges and a lot of these things that we want to do to like go out and be like, make sure everything's okay. And like, sometimes you just got to go like, okay, like we're going to do this out here. We're going to do this out here because there's just so many moving pieces and so many people that don't know like what's going on. And I'm, admittedly not always the best at expressing my vision of how things go. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad you are okay. I'm glad the challenge worked out. But yeah, so fast forward, I guess, or anything else we want to touch about the King of the Corn.
No, I was glad to see the backside of exile. I'll say that much. Listen, I had a great time out there. It saved my butt through many tribals. But yeah, I mean, we're merged now.
Mm-hmm.
So that merge vote. But so yeah, let's do before we get into that tribal, my MVPs. I've got 4 MVPs. I'll go quick, I promise.
Okay.
First of all, Allie. Watching back, in the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, Allie's here. Watching back the season, Allie was running that. Everyone's like, Tyler was the kingpin, and he was. Allie was just as much of a kingpin. I mean, it must be like a post-sibling thing, like the aura, the mist they have over people.
Yeah.
I mean, she was running the show. She did phenomenally, and like strategy-wise was sound. Like she had social relationships. She was a challenge beast. So like Allie, absolutely, probably like my power player for pre-merge. Obviously, we have Tyler. He ran it. He's so smart. He's so strategic. Obviously, some of the decisions may, in retrospect, rubbed people the wrong way. But like watching back, I'm like, I love it. This is genius. My other 2 MVPs are both Sams. Girl Sam, Samantha, I can confidently say the smartest person out there. Again, watching back, because we were on a tribe for like a minute. But like watching her go through this, her reads were stone cold. Like she had that game on lock. She knew exactly what was going on. She was like fully aware of everything and like was thinking, I think, 2 steps ahead of all of us. And I think the only thing that got in her way was Tyler's shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And again, she almost got him out before I did. And then Boy Sam, again, watching back, he had a lot of influence pre-merge. Like watching that swap vote where Hannah gets swapped over, McGingo and Zoe are bringing up Allie, and he's a yellow tribe person. He's been with them. Immediately shuts that down. Watching him being like, no, we're not doing that, and them immediately being like, okay, yeah, we're not doing that. Like he had a lot of influence, I think, than we give him credit for. So those are my 4 unsung heroes of the pre-merge.
Okay. Interesting. I feel like I don't know if you're asking or would like to know mine.
Who are your pre-merge heroes?
I think Zoe really kicked off the game. Like I think her going to exile and then coming back and finding the idol right away was like one of the best things that we could do for a premiere to kind of just get the ball rolling. And then her idol exchange with Adrian and then getting it back and then playing her idol to send Brooklyn home. Like, I feel like Zoe, at least entertainment wise, in terms of how big of a game she was playing, might not have always been perfect, but she was involved in so many conversations, was, played at the top, played at the middle, played at the bottom, and all within a day and a half. So I feel like Zoe played phenomenal. I agree. Samantha had great reads. She was always great in the confessionals. Like I had a hard time cutting her stuff just because she always, like, I feel like all of her confessionals ended up getting used just because she, was always on point and always had something insightful to say. You have so much footage of Tyler's shenanigans. And then like, I'd be like, who I could like have like narrate this that is going to put a pin in this like balloon? I think I can find a Samantha confessional. So I feel like Samantha was good. I think you were fantastic, John, at least with, a lot of narration of like where things stood, especially on Vendetta, of creating those like dilemmas or like dialogue, I guess, of like where things are at. I think the whole Vendetta tribe though is a very big MVP. Those people, God bless them. They went through hell, like of that whole day one, sitting out in the sun, because it's not just, like, oh, we have to lose. It's like, oh, we have to go to tribal and then sit out in this open field, like with the sun pelting down. And yeah, I think that whole tribe just deserves a big round of applause for getting us to where we're at.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, pre-merge, wild ride. I mean,
Yeah.
truly peak Survivor, in my opinion.
Really, it was. I feel like that's where I'm like I feel like the last couple of episodes we've hit kind of, I don't want to say a lull, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff still kind of going on, but we have had very predictable, at least like with Sam and Allie, and then you, like there's a lot of votes that have just been kind of like, okay, it's between two people, not a lot can really happen right now. And people's votes tend to be kind of locked right now. For as much editing as I've been able to like do, these are how the votes have gone. But like if you take a look back from Tyler's tribal before, like fireworks at almost every tribal besides maybe the Josie one that Tyler threw to get her out. So
yeah.
So yeah. we get into merge and you come back and you immediately tell like Tyler and the crew about this advantage. Did you know in that moment you were going to use it, like to betray them, or like were you just kind of quelling their anxiety at that time?
Yes and no. I did not. My thing with this, I'm like, this is a really good chance to draw lines in the sand. I really didn't feel super stable for a lot of the pre-merge with an alliance because like everything was kind of unspoken. I really didn't have a conversation with somebody where like, yes, we are going to the end together. Let's do it. So that for me, I'm like, this is a really good thing for me to form a group and draw that line and have that and like change up the game. Telling Tyler and Hannah and Eli at first was, again, I was craving an alliance at that point. Because again, I didn't really get a sense of how high up I was in Tyler's list. And I'm like, these are the people I really like. These are the people I want to go forward with. So I'm like, let me tell them about it. So we have the shared secret. So that was my initial plan. Taking out Tyler I talked about it with Samantha and Eli, as I said. I didn't have a firm plan. Looking back on it now, I wonder if I jumped the gun. You can make the arguments for either side. I stand by using it that tribal.
I do too.
Thank you. Just because, so yeah, that conversation with Eli, and as we saw it play out, the next tribal afterwards, Eli was very, very on the fence about getting Tyler out. He wanted to keep him around a little bit longer. So yeah, we have that challenge. I lose by 0.03 seconds in the first round. Still livid about that. I was so angry. Obviously, I was in the background. I got internally was like, I was so mad because I'm like, this could have been mine. So mad. Zoe has immunity. I am the only person who sees Zoe as head honcho at this point, which big brain over here. Yeah, so we're going in this. There were a lot of names before things started to get settled, which I think would have just been impossible to show. Names were flying out. That canoodling session was very, very chaotic. Yeah. And obviously you made it look narratively make sense. It was very chaotic. The first big name people had settled on, Tyler came up to me and he's like, I want to get out Luke, which immediately set off alarm bells in my head. Because at this point, Luke is a good buddy. He just saved me from a double tribal. I got this advantage. So that was like, I'm like, okay, I need to act now because if Luke's name's on the chopping block, I don't want to lose Luke. And like people, Aubrey, as we saw, were already spinning the wheels for Tyler. So it was a combination of, one, this is the time to solidify my alliance. And then two, the ball's already rolling for Tyler, but there was so much chaos and confusion. And as we've seen, I mean, people were saying they were going to vote for Tyler and then go back and not vote for Tyler. So I'm like, I just need to cement this.
Yeah.
And sort of like force people's hands a little bit, because it would be very easy at the last second to be like, no, let's just get out whoever the other side was targeting. I don't even remember. So yeah. So I stand by using the advantage then, just because it was really, really chaotic, more chaotic than I think would have been possible to show. So I'm like, I need to force their hands. Eli, it's time to make a decision. I'm making it for you. We're using the chain.
Yeah.
And that was a chance too, where now I'm super tight with Luke. That is locked in. Same with Aubrey, who I was only on a tribe with Aubrey for like 3 tribals up until that point. So
Yeah.
we reconnected at the start of the merge. I was surprised. She came up and she's like, I really want to work with you and Luke. I'm like, sure. Yeah. Because again, I mean, we just didn't have that much time together, but I'm like, yeah, let's lock this in. I'm down with that. So yeah, in the moment before tribal going into that, I'm like, I am big brain. Put me on the Mount Rushmore of Survivor Grand Rapids. Like, this is unclockable. Nobody's getting around this. Then the time comes to actually do it. Again, not knowing pre-existing relationships, I really did not know how close Hannah and Tyler were. You edited it out too. I mean, just to condense it, when Hannah is choosing, I think, Eli at that point, or she's choosing Aubrey or whoever, she paused a really long time.
That was a pause. That was the length of the pause right there.
She paused a very long time, and Tyler was looking at her, and I remember him looking at her, and she was not meeting his eyes, and he's like, Hannah. So I'm like, oh my God, is she not going to do it? I was in that moment, I was like, oh my God, this isn't going to work. I just blew up my whole game for nothing. Thankfully, Hannah stuck to the plan. But then more breakout happens. The 4 who weren't in the chain and weren't Zoe go over there. And I'm like, oh my God, Allie and Tyler still have an idol. Oh my God, they're going to play it on Tyler, and this will all be for nothing. Like, they're going to send home Carrie. Like this. So the whole process of the tribal, I'm like, oh my God, I just blew up my game for nothing. This is going so wrong. This is going so wrong. And then through the grace of the Survivor gods, Allie leaves the idol at camp, and Tyler goes. But yeah, I felt so confident. And then as it was happening, I'm like, oh my God, this is not working. I was stressed.
I mean, I think it played out the way.
How was it? But I want to know. It was cinematic. I mean, let's just be so real. Like, it was the most dramatic way it could have happened. In your mind, did you guys talked about it during the episode. Did you see it getting used that soon, that dramatically? How did you think that was going to go?
It was everything I could hope and dream out of that advantage. I feel like that advantage is something that I've seen played in some of those online Survivor games that I may or may not have participated in. And these safety chains, I really wanted to give the players like that autonomy to still vote and basically make it, and also taking that twist from Fresh Meat and other Survivor seasons that I've done where you divide the tribe in half and still like make them safe and that kind of stuff. So I was like, what if we give that power to one person? I was very, very nervous when you got sent to exile. I was so happy because I was like, I know John is going to use this advantage well. Whether or not he gets this advantage is going to be one thing, but
it's close.
If he uses this advantage, it will be used well. So I was in full confidence that you were going to use it well in the most like game-worthy way possible. Now, if Tyler was, won that immunity and ended up sending Allie, I would have been like, oh my God, like what is like, this is going to be a bad season. Like scrap, like completely in the moment, being dramatic, like this is going to be a mess. Like, I don't know, for those fans tuning in, it was similar to like when Cam Godin just was steamrolling through our fans on the fans versus favorite season. Like it was like, come on, like I cannot have a dominant winner like do this. And like Tyler is just, I don't know. So I was very anxious about that. But once you had it, I was very confident that things were going to be okay. And it played out in the best way possible, especially narratively. Like this stuff, like I had no idea it was this crazy. Like I knew like people were like, they're going to play it to get Tyler out. And I didn't know, like I knew Tyler was the power player, but I didn't know each person had their own vendetta against Tyler. Like it wasn't just like John's like, ooh, I got the advantage. Like I'm going to play it and make, you safe, you safe, you safe. Like each person is going for Tyler's throat. They want his blood because he has screwed them over in the game. And Tyler is so oblivious to this because of the power that he's had, because of what he's been able to get away with. And then we get to tribal council and each person is, at two bruteing him, stabbing him in the back, stabbing him in the front. Like it is cinematic. It is a Survivor, like big power play that I, cannot believe that you guys were able to pull off. And like, it is one of those things where the game just delivers. The game provides, like Survivor gods provide. Sometimes you do get Cam Godin run seasons. No offense to Cam, if he's watching, but sometimes, we're at a point where these players all come to play and they will give it their all. And I'm so grateful for the Bad Blood cast to show up and do that, and pull it off.
So much could have gone wrong. So much had to go right for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it really was karmic at that point. I mean, yeah, my one regret. So when Tyler leaves the fedora, great cinematic moment from him as well. I mean, he knew he was making good TV that whole season. I should have gone and put that on my head. That's my biggest regret is I didn't take the fedora. I should have taken the fedora.
I don't know if you wanted to wear that fedora. That fedora had been through that slip and slide. It was worn on Tyler's sweaty head. But yes, that would have been funny. The exchanging of power.
Yeah.
What did you say about the coven? If one supreme phase
listen
rise.
Yeah, so let's get into the fallout. Because it was immediate. The vibes after that tribal were all over the place. Allie's upset, understandably so. I mean,
Yeah.
Hannah's upset because again, that was a really long pause, and Tyler's like, Hannah, like, are you really gonna do this to me? So that is one half of them are just upset, and then the other half are celebrating. Because like, yeah, we pulled out this big move, and I was very torn because I love the Postmas. I mean, as we saw earlier, like I was comforting Allie after the Adrian vote. Like, I knew that like Allie was maybe taking the game. I mean, it was, again, emotions were high. So I knew this was probably going to upset her, and I felt so bad about it. And then I didn't realize Hannah was going to take it hard. So then I'm here's behind the scenes. They let us use the bathroom inside. They're not complete animals. So I'm going to like brush my teeth or whatever for the night. And I just come back from like the very somber aftermath of Tyler and the crew. I mean, not to pull the wool over, they're like high five and like, great play. And I'm like, yeah, guys, thanks. But like inside, I'm like, I'm a monster. Like, what did I do? Like, I felt so bad, but I was also so excited. But yeah, I mean, from that moment in my mind, and I guess not in everybody else's, I was like, all right, I'm I'm HBIC. Like I did that. It
Yeah.
really, I mean, maybe I'm conceited. It felt like my move. Granted, Aubrey had the ball rolling and like things were happening, but like that chain was like my move.
Yeah.
I'm gonna claim it. That's my it's
Yeah.
mine. So I really felt like hot stuff. So then we're into day 3. Luckily the sun is not as horrible. But the entirety of day 3, I'm like, all right, I'm out. I showed my hand too soon. I should have waited. I mean, that was really dramatic. I was really like, people are going to be gunning for me now. Because again, like Carrie was not included. I felt so bad for the people who weren't included too. Like I felt like such a bully doing that. Just like watching like Carrie and Allie, and even Zoe was kind of in on it, but she was only in on it because she had immunity. Like, I'll be so real. Whoever had immunity, that tribal was also going to be in on it. So I felt really bad. Like the vibes, I just then felt an immediate disconnect from everyone not in the chain. So I'm like, I'm next. Eli's a great game player. He's gunning for me. Zoe, who is enemy number 1, not in like a negative way, but I'm like, she is, in my mind, the best game player out there from my perspective in that moment. And watching back, I'm like, Zoe's going to get me. I was so sure. I'm like, Zoe's going to get me. So I was so ready. I'm like, I'm next. I showed my hand and I'm out. And then we do touchy subjects. Touchy subjects felt very gaslighty to me because I'm like, I'm going to get all the bad ones. People are going to use this to like really crap on me. Because in the online games that you and I have both played, I had a similar season where a merge vote, I pulled a really big move and then it was touchy subjects and I was enemy number 1. So that was also coloring my expectations of, oh, they're going to hate me. But then I'm getting all the nice ones. And I'm like, what's going on? I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And then we've got the Sam vote and the Allie vote. And my name does not get brought up at all. Other than like Zoe brought it up during Allie, but then Allie and Carrie immediately came and told me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, am I not a threat? That was my vibe on day 3. I was like, am I not a threat?
Yeah.
Did nobody else just saw what I did? I felt so gaslighted. I'm like, wait, I just pulled off a really big move. Why are they not coming after me? Did I just get away with this? Yeah, I mean, what would you have thought the fallout would have been?
I think that is a really good question. I for where we were at on that cast, I feel like everybody really was just kind of trying to take day 3 round by round and just going like, hey, we're want to keep this easy. We've had a crazy 2 days. And I think also we're in such an interesting position because like I don't think in the game people were seeing you as the power player that you were. Like we watching it back got to see you be like, all right, like I'm putting my neck on the line. I'm aligning with Tyler. I'm making these social connections. I'm connecting with Luke. Like we're able to see all of that and we're able to see your narration about it. But when it comes to like everybody else in the game, I think they're just like, oh yeah, John got an advantage at exile. He's going to save all of us. Cool. Yay. And it wasn't until the next day when we start dwindling in numbers that people, players like Zoe are like, I need to put the target on somebody else. Like this is not going to work for me. So I feel like that is where we see that happen. And I know I texted you about it. I feel like that round 8 or for 8th place where Allie goes home was a very, very pivotal round of working with people on the outside of it. Like, I don't want to say that you got too comfortable because you were very not comfortable. Like you were nervous that you were on the chopping block, but like, yeah, those players were like, Zoe was going to pick up Carrie. Eli picked up Allie. Like these people on the outside were, not controlling things, but we're ultimately controlling things. So
Yeah. What I
that's a
will say too, yeah, I agree. It was part comfortable and part, I'm gonna be so real. The like the emotions of that Tyler vote kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. Because I really felt bad. So at this point, emotionally, I was very stressed out because, we go through the Sam vote and I'm like, all right, they're letting me get away with this. And at that point, not to sound conceited, I'm like, am I just gonna win? Like, are they really not gonna vote me out? Are they gonna let me get to the end?
yeah.
Um, and I mean, let me be conceited even more. If I get to the end, I'm winning.
I would
Because
agree with
that was
that.
my one thing. I'm a speech person. Like talking is my bread and butter. So I'm like, I'm going to craft them such a tale, such a narrative of my experience. I'm like, I was sure. And I mean, even now, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna win. Um, so that was part of it. So with that mindset, I'm like, okay, they're not coming after me. And now I need to start thinking about what this boot order is going to be according to John.
Yeah.
Um, so then, as we saw, I was very, very aware my whole vote out. I'm like, if I make it past this tribal, if I can get Zoe out, she is my only opposition. She is the only person with the gun pointed at me. So that tribal, I knew, I'm like, if I'm going to win this game, I need to do it now by voting out Zoe. And I really think if I had, I mean, I really think Eli probably would have taken up arms against me and probably Hannah. Um, but otherwise, I mean, Luke thought he could beat me. Aubrey also probably would have tried to get me out. Eli and Aubrey probably would have been my downfall in the end. But in my mind, during my vote out, I'm like, Aubrey is the last or Zoe is the last obstacle to my win. So we do the challenge and Luke wins. And before we start canoodling, I have a confessional. I am completely stressed out. Emotionally, I am going through it because I've got my final three with Luke and Aubrey. And then in my mind, I had a final three with Eli and Hannah. And in my heart, what I wanted the final three to be was me, Hannah, and Luke. So I'm like, how do I navigate this? And I was so stressed out by the prospect of it that I just the wind kind of got taken out. I was like, how am I gonna betray Aubrey and how am I gonna betray Eli? And meanwhile, they're all betraying me behind my back.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. I think I could have fought a little harder, and I think I could have maybe wormed my way out. I've thought of some ideas, in the convening time, but by that point, emotionally, I was so stressed.
I don't blame
So
you.
where I'm like,
I feel like you were kind of saying, you were gaslit to a point where you were like, where am I at in this game? And I feel like those two rounds, round 10 or I don't even know what rounds they are. Sam, I'm going off like episodes. Like, all right, round where Sam goes out and the round where Allie goes out, like you're kind of like, all right, where are we at? Like I'm exposed. Like what do we do? And it's really hard to pivot at that point because you're kind of like, all right, like I just made a massive move. Do I make myself a bigger target or do I stay back a little bit? And I felt like you were kind of in the middle because they kept turning to you and being like, John, what's the move? And so like that was tough to navigate. And I do think going for Zoe was the move to do because if you were going to flip anybody, you're not going to flip them on, somebody that's not an equal threat level as you. So I feel like that had to have been the move there. So but yeah, it was a tough boot because you knew it was coming, but you didn't have that confirmation. That is a very, very scary and place to be when you're a Survivor player, when your gut's telling you one thing and then, you just have nothing to do because at what point do you just have to believe what people are telling you?
yeah. Well, I will say I knew as soon as we started canoodling that it was my time. I had not one doubt in my mind. I know in my confessional, I'm like, oh, it might go my way. I knew it was not going my way. I would have been flabbergasted had I not gone out, just because nobody was talking to me. The vibe was just immediately different. I mean, it was immediately obvious that like Hannah's not really looking at me. Eli's not really telling me anything. Carrie's not looking. I mean, Carrie and I never were like super close in the game. But like Aubrey and Zoe, the writing was on the wall. So that's my regret, is I didn't play more like Tyler. I should have gone full dramatics and like shaken things up.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was going. So that's I could have done more, but yeah, I get voted out, and there was a part of me I'm like, well, thank God I don't have to betray anyone else.
Mm-hmm. John, we do have a question in the comments. Question from Mark. Question for John. A lot of people called Rob Rush on Traders a poor man's John from Survivor GR. Did being devilishly attractive impact your game at all?
Thank you so much for your question, Mark. Fun fact, I don't watch the Traders. Well, yes, I think my natural allure works in my favor. As we saw, I'm going to go ahead and give myself the social game award. Because that really was my best asset, was my charm, my wit, my beauty. So it's a bane and a boon. It's a double-edged sword, because everyone always wants to go for the pretty girl, as it ended up, and they got me. So
I will give a spoiler for the finale, because I'm still currently editing it, but there's literally a circle where everybody just is like right coming back from tribal, and everybody just goes, oh, he was just so charismatic. Oh, he was so good. He's so charismatic. He would have won. And everybody's just standing there, and Luke's like, yeah. So that's
I need to call out my best buddy Luke. Now that you said that, in the moment when Aubrey's like, yeah, he's gonna win, and then we go to Luke's confession, we're like, I don't think he's gonna win. Luke, come on, I was gonna win. Be so for real. I was winning. No way, no how. That the nerve of that man to think that it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, that's the only teaser I'll be giving out for the finale that I can think of right now. But yeah, John, we've recapped your entire game in an hour and a half. So that's fantastic. Let's dive into our finale 6. So for those tuning in, I do not have the finale done yet. That is something that I have been very vocal about on every podcast that we've done. I don't have a tentative date that we are going to have it done. My hope is Wednesday, the 11th of March, but we will see. So please don't hold me to that, and follow social media for more. But in the meantime, you can listen to this podcast if you haven't already, and listen to John and I's thoughts on Hannah's proud of me.
Listen, everyone out there, he's like, this man is cooking up gold. Rome was not built in a day. Like, let him cook.
I'm trying. But yeah, we're going to go through our final 6 and give our thoughts on their game thus far, and John's thoughts on them of playing the game, because he is the one that's played with them the longest up to this point. So John, kick us off. Who do you want to start with?
Let's get into it. So going into the jury, I'm just going to speak up generally. What was very exciting to me as a jury member is that it was really anybody's game. Tyler is gone. I am now gone. Like, the 2 front runners are gone. So it is anybody's game. And you've got 6 people playing very, very different games, and are all playing very, very well in their own way. So like, that was my thing as a jury member. Immediately, I'm like, who's it going to be? It could be anyone. So let's start with, for me, I'll start with my underdog, which is Carrie. I, for one, really thought that like Carrie had played a great game, and unconventional, but like really, really strong, because in my mind, and for everyone else, Carrie had been through it on that game more than anybody else. She'd been exiled just as many times as I. She had been voted at probably almost every tribal she could have been voted at. She was the consummate survivor. So like she had gone through it, and at the end of the day, she was still there. We were all underestimating her. I'll be the first to say I was really not taking Carrie into that much account. Egg on my face, she got me out. So immediately from the jury, my mind is going to Carrie. I'm like, Carrie's got a really strong case. If she can make it to the finale or like the final tribal, she has got a very strong case to be made because she has survived more than anybody out here.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, Carrie, I just pulled up Hannah's comment. Carrie stands unite. Carrie's got her supporters out here. And I'm glad that it's being caught, like, at least on the post-production side of things, because I feel very much in game. Everybody viewed Carrie as like kind of nothing in the game, or a question mark in the game. I feel like Carrie's relationships only extended to whatever benefited anybody else at that time. And a lot of the time she was like cast aside. And it's a very, very hard game to play. And it's a position that she really didn't put herself into outside of being partnered with Josie and then deciding to play with Josie. And that was a sinking ship before it even hit the water. I feel like Carrie, if she pitches a case correctly, I think she's got a solid, a solid story to describe it like that. She's been through the ringer. She has played, especially in this end game, a pivotal vote in getting you out, and she's been pushing for it. We saw Allie kind of curl over and leave on that last tribal, and Carrie's still fighting for it. She's fighting for it every round. So a lot of respect for Carrie in the game that she's played thus far. We will see if she is able to get the job done in the finale. So, all right. Who's next, John?
Actually, next on my list, let's talk about Eli. So, like, Eli, again, in the game, I knew he was a person to look out for, and we all were always kind of aware of Eli. He is like a very big fan of the show. Like, he knows the strategies. Like, everyone was like, yes, Eli is the strategic threat. What we're also seeing in the post-production, great social game. I mean, I really like Eli. I felt really close to him in the game. Allie gave him an idol. I mean, like, Allie gave him an idol. I don't think he's been voted for seriously, at least, if at all. Like, he's really never been a legitimate like option to vote out. And he's a challenge beast. He's won what, 2 or 3 immunities up to this point. So yeah, I mean, Eli is maybe not the flashiest player, but he's definitely probably the most involved. Like, he's in on all the votes. I think he's probably voted correctly every time. And he's kind of like the behind the scenes puppet master a little bit. And the thing with this too, and same with Carrie, is like their games are definitely more subtle. We were aware of Eli. My only thing is he was not as visible as, say, maybe like Zoe or Hannah or Luke. But he is also somebody I have no doubt, if he makes it to the end, he is selling his game, and he's leaving us with no doubt. So that's the pros and cons. He's really playing the behind the scenes mastermind. And now if he makes it to the end, it's going to be a challenge of, can you sell that to everybody else who really didn't know everything you had going on? And I think he would be able to.
Yeah, Eli, I feel like, has definitely played behind the scenes. And something that I respect a lot out of Eli is that he's been crafting his story from the jump. And so I get to see that all from post-production, and I can see like all his confessionals and how he is positioning himself in controlling those votes. Whether or not he had direct power in it, he is describing why that vote benefited his game. And I feel like that is something that he can definitely speak to when he gets to the final tribal. The one thing that I knocked Eli for, especially before your episode, was letting go of Allie. I feel like that was such a tough thing to do, and not utilize her to her fullest other than taking her idol. So I will see how that happens. The thing with Eli is, though, when he gets to the jury, I feel like the jury would respect his game enough to be like they don't feel backstabbed by him. And you look at his confessionals and he's like, hey, I'm sending you home. Like all those relationships that we had, like, sorry, like they're done. So I think he's doing it in a very, very good way that's socially, able to maneuver. So he does have the idol. We'll see what kind of positioning he will be in the finale. But yeah, Eli, I agree with you. Very subtle game, and I'm sure he's ready to pitch it at the end. Who we got next?
Absolutely. Let's talk about Luke. Luke, to me, I think Luke is playing like the real strengths of his game, I think, are probably not what he would have expected going in. I think Luke came in and he said in confessionals with a very physical mindset. I'm here to win challenges, and that's getting me through the pre-merge, and it sure did. I don't think he ever lost a pre-merge challenge. I mean, maybe one. But I mean, speaking as Luke, #1 bestie fan over here, Luke had a really good social game. He's playing very flexible. He's adapting well to the situation. So like that whole thing when Hannah got him to flip over pre-merge, he is adapting himself to the game that's in front of him, which I think is a hard skill. Sometimes, we can kind of dig our heels in and try and go against the flow. Luke is giving up control where he knows he's not going to have it. And I think that kind of awareness is a huge benefit. And then, of course, he is a huge physical threat, but nobody's really looking at him like that so far. I mean, again, he's somebody, nobody's really bringing up his name. I mean, Tyler brought it up, but it was more just so like, close your eyes and point in the lineup who you want to take out of that tribal. And then also social game. I felt great about Luke. Luke was #1 bestie. I mean, he was making close relationships, I think. And like, he was getting his hands dirty, but same with Eli. I don't think a lot of that blood was falling on his shirt. So yeah, that's my big takeaway about Luke's game, and what I think really he has going for him, other than like the challenges, is just how like adaptable he's been in this game. Like he really gets the sense of like the ebb and flow of the game. He knows where to sort of ride out. That's going to get him through to the next round.
I agree. I think Luke has played probably the cleanest game in this game of Bad Blood. He is very vocal with who he's against. You think back to the beginning when he's been against the partners with Hannah and Josh, Zoe and Adrian, and Tyler and Allie. He goes up against Josh in a split vote and ends up sending Josh home. That's a big testament to his social game. I feel like Luke is in a very interesting position because he doesn't seem to be in a lot of control of the votes, but he's in a very good, as you've said, social position. He's won 2 immunities, I believe, this most recent one and then the merge one, and then has made pivotal moves with sending you to exile, which ultimately wouldn't have had that Tyler Tribal Council if he hadn't done that. So Luke is in a very interesting position. I think it comes down to how he would be able to pitch his game, because it has really been a season-long game. But is he able to use that stuff that people might have forgotten about from day 1 or 2 to like elevate his pace? Because day 3, I feel like he's at least approached it a little bit timidly. We'll see how he adapts after his best buddy John has been sent home.
Yeah, I mean, next up, I want to talk about somebody who has absolutely shocked me watching this back. Aubrey, I was not familiar with your game. Miss thing, like Aubrey is eating this game up on a platter. She is incredible to watch. Just as a gamer, I mean, what she's done and is doing in this game is insane. She is socially on it. She is got relationships that are solid. I felt great about her. She had a final three. She's got Hannah. They were super close. She's got Luke. They're super close. When she got swapped over to the tribe where she was in a clear minority, she immediately got in with Tyler. So socially, strategically, she's making big swings. We saw, I mean, she tried to get Tyler out before we finally managed it. She's not afraid to make big moves. And a lot of things are working out as she wants. So, like, Aubrey is an incredible game player. Always a consistent threat in challenges. My only thing, and it's the flip side of Luke, to where I worry about Aubrey's jury management because she is making such close bonds with people, and like she's really kind of selling us. I had no doubt she wanted to take me to the final three. Hannah wants to take her to the final two. Luke, I was also in the final three. As she's backstabbing more and more people, it's a necessary monster in this game. I'm questioning how she is sort of mulling that over. So my only flaw with Aubrey's game is potential jury management, because she's playing a winning game. I mean, the resume is there. She's making the moves. She's doing everything she needs to. If she makes it to the end, the only thing that stands in her way is public perception. So that is going to be a huge obstacle. But she, hands down, is playing a winning game here.
Heck yeah. I enjoy Aubrey quite a bit. John, I don't know. Are you getting any fuzzy noise on audio or no on your side?
Maybe like a minor, but not really.
I'm getting a fuzzy. Do you mind if you try logging out and then come back in with the link?
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Well, we sort out these technical difficulties. It's Dom, and yeah, I hope that we are able to get this fixed. Might be coming from John's side. Let's try this again. Sound better?
Test 1, 2, 3.
I think we're good. Heck yeah. All right.
So we love her.
Now my turn with Aubrey. Aubrey, I've already kind of praised her in this podcast. I think Aubrey has blown me out of the water the most. I love the game that she's playing. I love like the way that she analyzes it and just her cutthroat nature about it. Like she enters it like, this is who I want to target this round, and this is how I'm going to do it. If I don't get it done, no worries. We'll take the swing again. Like she's going for it. She has no votes against her. She is on really nobody's radar. The one thing with Aubrey is going to be, how she manages those relationships. I feel like I don't think anybody sees Aubrey as being as influential as she is, which I think might make a lot of people bitter, at least on the jury. We talked to Allie, we talked to Tyler, and both were not big fans of how Aubrey kind of like went about getting them out, even though I think she stood on their graves pretty triumphantly. Like she was great. Another thing with Aubrey is how she kind of swerved Hannah's final two. That was very interesting. We haven't really talked much about that, but that was an interesting move. And I think Aubrey is, I think she's a great player. I think her biggest challenge is going to be having to package that winning case as something that has, the jury to vote for it. I do have a question for you, John, because Aubrey has brought this up and Sydney brought this up last tribal council, but she's brought it up that her and Hannah, she has to cut Hannah because their stories are too similar. Like, I just bring it up because it's interesting that she views like going to the end with people with different stories as more positive than somebody that has the same story. Like, what are your thoughts on that whole thing with her of like wanting to cut Hannah since day 2, really, of playing together?
I think it shows that she watches the show, because that is a potential pitfall. If you walk in with like your twin and then there's somebody else next to you both who's played a very different game, it is easy to be like, well, you two just did the same thing. How am I going to choose? While this person over here did it on their own. Um, so it is a legitimate threat. I mean, it is one that can be mitigated if you are one being careful with who you are going to the final with, which is not always in your control, but as much as it can be.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think she's on the wrong path with wanting to do that. I think she is right to wanting to set herself apart. Because again, I mean, she and Hannah have been alongside each other, but are playing very, very different games.
Yeah.
But the perception is not necessarily that. Because again, I was not familiar with Aubrey's game. I did not know a quarter of what she was doing out on this farm.
Mhm.
So I think it's got merit. I think how she's going about it, swerving might not be the best decision, but I think she's probably got the right idea. I mean, she's thinking long term here.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, Aubrey, definitely one of my favorites, at least to watch, and definitely one of my favorites to edit. Her confessionals are so direct and to the point. Like she has off the cuff, hasn't thought about how she's going to say anything, just what's on her mind. And I really do appreciate that game style from Aubrey. So she's killing it.
I'm obsessed with her. She's so good.
Who's next?
Let's talk about my BFF for life, Hannah.
Okay.
I can't go on enough about her. I mean, truly the best gift to come out of playing this game is knowing Hannah and Josh, and I mean everyone, but like I feel close to them still. Hannah is doing phenomenal. The fact that her and Zoe can come in as returners and like that never be a mark against them. Um, she's doing really well. I mean, what really blew me away was that tribal where she was able to flip Luke. She should not have been in the driver's seat for that tribal. Her coming over last minute when Carrie sends her over, anybody else would have been out the door and on the jury.
Yeah.
The fact that Hannah was so persuasive, and like the power she has in this game, she's wielding really, really effectively. Everybody's coming to her. I think everybody feels pretty good about her. She's playing a winning game. The thing now is managing threat level. How can she get back to because she has had a very visible game, I feel. Like I feel like everyone is kind of seeing and respecting what Hannah's doing. She's got an incredible social game. She is so physical. She's so strategic. So now it's a matter of, all right, if I get to the end, I'm pretty sure I can win. How do I get there?
Mhm.
She has set the foundation for herself. I will say, one maybe notch in Hannah's game was voting me out because I mean she and Eli said it straight up. John is loyal to us. Am I a threat to win? Yes. But I never would have gone against Hannah. I was, no matter what, if I lost her, I lost her. That was in a reality I was fine with. So that I think is maybe the one thing is cutting somebody who is really loyal to you. Because again, it's getting to the end is the tough part.
Mhm.
Obviously, we all have our ideal final threes, but that reality is not in our hands. So to me, she's just playing a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal game. And it's all about threat management and just getting a chance to show it off.
Mhm. I agree. I've been so proud of Hannah and the way that she's played it. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast before or during the season. Like that is the game that I knew Hannah was like capable of playing, like as her friend, like coming into fresh meat, like her going out the way that she did with her hurt back and being like, all right, like if you want to come back again, like just so you know, like spotlight's gonna be kind of hot. Like you're the returner. We need a lot of good content, and like you're gonna be in a very tough spot. And like so I gave that talk to her, I gave that talk to Zoe, and just let them know that they're the vets. They need to be able to, show up and give us their all, And she did. She showed up and has killed it. She's, her pivoting after Josh got voted out is like one of the like coolest things that I've seen her like do in the game of like my boyfriend, my fiance just got voted out and I'm going to turn around and try to work with the people that have just done that. And I feel like that shows her maturity as like a player. Josh might not be the biggest fan of her working with Luke after that, but that's neither here nor there. And she's been a very pivotal, mover in this game. Like she could have switched everything up and gone like save Tyler and instead of Aubrey and change that whole merge vote. And she has had power. She has had control. The one thing with Hannah is I just have visibly seen her be more reserved on day 3. And I think that just kind of goes to the game that she's been playing. Like, does she have enough gas in the tank to get to the end? And a lot of that comes down to what you were saying was how emotional it gets out there with you're in this vacuum. And she started voting out her friends. She has been voting out her friends. She's been on a losing tribe. So my question is like, is she able to turn that around and carry through this end game? Because she's killed it this far. She has done so good. And I do agree, going for you, at least at that point, was not a good move. We can cut John at 5, we can cut John at 4.
Exactly.
But like, let's at least save, like try to do a majority here. So I don't think that was good for Hannah. I don't think that was necessarily the best move for Eli, but I do think her making that move still shows how much power that she has in the game. Because if Aubrey and Luke decided to, if Carrie and Zoe decide to, go for you and everybody else stays the same, like you have the vote, you win that vote. So yeah, Hannah, I'm really proud of the game she's played. So
Hannah, more than anybody else, I think if you were to put her on a CBS season of the show, she's winning. I mean, she just is the total Survivor package in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's incredible. Last and certainly not least is my in-game number 1 op, Zoe. I, in the game, was so flabbergasted that more people were not looking at Zoe. Because to me, I don't know. She was like such a move maker. She was winning challenge after challenge. She had advantages. I didn't even know half the stuff she did pre-merge, like that idol play on Magingo. Like I had no idea. And even then, real recognizes real. I think she's got a lot of friends on the jury. She's playing really, really, really smart. I knew Zoe was a smart game player. I did not know half of the intellect she was bringing to this game. She is making great reads. She is incredibly flexible in the game. She's got great social skill. I mean, she's picking up carry. That's huge. Managing her own threat level. I mean, she is playing the trajectory of her game's all over the place, but like she is taking control no matter where she is. Mm-hmm. She could be on the very bottom. She's using that idol. She's getting out of it. She's on the top. She's riding that. In my mind, like going into this finale here, I mean, the people to watch are Hannah and Zoe. Just the 2 returners who have been absolutely dominant in my mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zoe, I think, has just been playing incredibly. And again, I really feel like Cassandra, like I'm predicting the future. Nobody else is seeing it. I'm like, guys, Zoe is right here. Like, I know I made that big move, but like Zoe is going to win this game. Get her out, get her out, get her. And like, everyone's like, no. No.
Yeah, I think I agree. I did not expect this out of Zoe. Like, I'll be honest, like I thought Hannah would do well, mostly because of her connections. Like on a second time, I think playing with Josh was massive, but I know that Hannah and Tyler are pretty good friends. Like Zoe did have Adrian, and Zoe also knows a couple Grand Rapids people, but she, had moved to the east side at that point, and she, hadn't really been around a lot of the festivities outside of Survivor. And so she comes back, and she comes back in the most like impressive way that I've seen her, that only Zoe can do, where she's still, counting the numbers on her fingers, trying to figure out, how things are going. She gives like this confidence in the game, but also she delivers her confessionals like still kind of confused. And like, I think that just kind of speaks to the player that she is. Not that she's confused, but the fact that she is so confident in the game that she's playing, that there's also this mist around Zoe of like, oh, it's just Zoe, like she's playing. One thing with Zoe is my mom talks to me about Zoe. Like she talks to me about John. She loves like, oh, John was great this episode. This person, my mom always goes like, she loves an underdog, and she goes like, Zoe's name is out there, and she is just shows back at tribal and goes, okay, like, what are we doing this round? And like, that is the game that Zoe's playing. She's playing unafraid. She's not, scared to go up against Titans like you, John, in the game. And she's taking heads with her. And I think that's the game that she's playing. And if she gets to the end, it's a wrap. I feel like she's got a killer story to do. And I remember Zoe told me, like, going into day 3, like, she was like, I have my final jury speech like already kind of thought out. She's like, I couldn't go to bed. I was thinking of my final jury speech. And I give Zoe and Hannah a lot of credit for coming back and playing the game that they did. But also, I mean, they're playing as returnees, and like, if you turned on like fresh or bad blood, maybe at the merge or something, or episode 4 or 5, and you didn't know that Hannah and Zoe were returnees, like, that just shows the caliber of players that surround them. Like, everybody is playing like this is not their first rodeo and putting everything that they have into it. So I think our final 6 is a very, very, very strong final 6. I think it's anybody's game, especially heading into this final stretch of things.
One question, I know we're over 2 hours now, so sorry everyone. I'm a yapper. Who are you most surprised to have made it out of this top 6? Like, who really surprised you, who made it to this point from the top 6?
Ooh, in-game carry. I mean, I remember I thought I have to look back on my pregame. I thought Carrie would do very well. But watching her go to exile, I was like, I can't believe Carrie's still here. As a friend, I'm like, I hate to have somebody's Survivor experience just be like constant losing and like being alone. And so like, I had so much sympathy for Carrie at that point, but very surprised that she was still managed to make it to that point. I would say Luke too. Luke was a big force in the pre-merge, and he had very little allies, and the fact that he was able to maneuver to get to where he's at, like, I was kind of surprised where he was at. Everybody else, at least watching, I was like, okay. Again, Aubrey, I had no idea of like her game that she was playing. I remember I was kind of like, oh yeah, like Aubrey's still here. Not in like a bad way, but definitely like, okay, like, how do I approach Aubrey's narrative, And I don't really want to be like, so your sister was here too. Like, what do you like? I had no clue of like Aubrey's game and what got her to that point. Like Luke, you can see physically, what he was doing, and same with Eli. And Eli, I still got kind of like some insight from our camera people about that he was using Tyler as a shield. So I kind of knew the game that he was playing. Carrie visually going to exile. Hannah and Zoe were veterans, and Aubrey was just a question mark for me. So I was kind of like, what are you doing here? Like, how'd you get here? I know you deserve to be here, but like, we'll find out in the edit. And so I think we are finding out in the edit how she's gotten to this point. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, I agree. When you start off and you look at everyone as a group, you are making like the preconceived notions as a player, like, all right, here's realistically who I see in the final. Carrie and Aubrey, I mean, I underestimated them. Huge mistake. Huge.
Yeah.
Especially Aubrey. I mean, her game is so fun to watch. It is so good. Obsessed with everything she's doing. What a great final six. I mean, really, as a juror, it could go any way. I will give my insight to where I was at that point. I don't know if you plan to do a Ponderosa segment, but
maybe if I can get footage going.
Yeah. But as a juror, I'm walking into the jury house. I'm showered and fed and watered. I'm thinking like, all right, who am I going to vote for? My mind was like Zoe, Hannah, yeah, but I'm really like, it could be any of them. I'm keeping my mind open. I'm going to see what they tell me at Final Tribal, because it's a great Final Six.
If you remember, I mean, again, if we get the Ponderosa footage, we'll see it. But if you remember going into Final Tribal, the jury, were you like, all right, I'm about to educate you on how this game was going? Like, who?
No.
Really?
I was scared.
Oh, really?
Because again, I mean, at the Tyler vote, and then I voted out his good friend and his sister in front of him. I'm like, oh my God, no one's going to talk to me. I'm going to be public enemy number one. Could not be further from the truth. Everyone was so nice. I mean, obviously, we're playing in the backyard, but still, everyone was so nice. I love everyone on the jury. Had so much fun with them out of the game. It was so nice to like take a breath and just hang out with them. Yeah. Getting to share my game with them from my perspective was so cool. Because people really didn't know all that I had going on.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like everyone was doing Survivor and I was off on my own show. I was playing like Naked and Afraid or something. I mean, I felt like I was in my own world a lot of the time. So being able to like show off my game a little bit and everyone like was like, oh my God, I had no idea. So fun, so cool just to like have that. So nice. Yeah, it was a fun little Ponderosa moment.
Okay, awesome. Well, we are over 2 hours. It's been so fun to yap, John, especially with somebody that knows the game and knows the experience too. We're at a very special point before going into the finale. So this is the last one where we're going to be doing our power rankings. To remind those that have not tuned in all season, each of us assign our top 3 power players of the week. Third place will get 1 point, second will get 3, and then first place will get 5. Did I describe that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you're following along at home. So, John, who was your third place power player of the week?
So we're doing it just based off of this episode performance, correct?
So this episode performance, or like how they've played this season, how they're setting themselves up, like basically it could be up in the air. Like it's up to interpretation of our guests.
Gotcha. All right. My third spot is going to be Luke, just because jury management. I did not know he voted to keep me. To be honest, when I got voted out, I thought it was maybe Carrie being left out of the vote. So like him being okay, he knew I was going, but him being okay to be on the outs, just to like not burn the bridge he had with me, is really risky gameplay. But if he makes it to the end, that's going to be huge. So Luke's jury management is very, 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 very risky. But I think it's kind of a baller move. So he's my number 3 for this week and up until this point. Because I think it's a really good long-term move if he can convert it.
Okay, awesome. My number 3 is going to be Hannah. I know that we said that this might have been a miss for Hannah going for John, but I do think the fact that the power relied in her hands was just kind of a testament to where she's at in the game. Her linking up with Eli and keeping that information about the idol, I think she did a pretty good recovery about Allie's whole pull you at tribal situation that really just ultimately put her in a terrible spot. And I think she played that as best that she could. Aubrey does think that she has an idol, which she is wrong about, but Hannah then turns that into a final deal with Eli. So I feel like between that and then also being a nail in your coffin, John, I feel like Hannah at least deserves some credit, even though this might not have been her top move that she could have made this round. All right. Who's your number 2?
My number 2, I mean, we've been singing her praises for the last half hour. It's Aubrey. Aubrey, again, she is not afraid to make a big move. She sets her mind to it, and she's like, I'm going to get this done. She set her sights on me. She's like, I'm making a big move. It's either going to be John or Eli. Flip a coin. John, all right, we're going for it. And she made it happen. I mean, yeah, she's really not afraid to go for it. And her game up to this point has been that. So we'll see how it plays out. But just as a lover of the game, I have to give it to her. I'm so impressed with everything she's doing. Big props. So yeah, Aubrey is my number 2.
Aubrey will not be appearing on my side. I do want to give her credit, though. I do think it'll be interesting to see how that conversation with Luke is after, especially not directly telling him that you were the vote and just kind of, nudging it a little bit. But I do think Aubrey played this round pretty great. I have to give my number 2 spot to somebody who is well overdue from being on my list. I got to go with Carrie. I feel like Carrie has been drugged through the mud this merge, and finally she is a part of a vote, a part of a number, and has made a pretty decent alliance, at least that we see with Zoe. Her name is still thrown out as kind of like just a cover, but it didn't get written down for like the first time, in a long time. So, or at least brought up seriously for the first time in a long time. I think Carrie put her head down and stuck to her guns of we need to make a big move and take out a power player. And that connection that she made with Zoe the round prior paid off in spades right now. So I think Carrie, she deserves at least 3 points for me for this week. So
Carrie was next on my list. I really struggled. I really wanted, because again, I totally agree with you. I think she's great episode. My number 1, it's got to be Zoe. I was gunning for her so hard, and it just did not make a difference. It was closer watching the edit. I mean, Hannah and Eli were maybe thinking about it, but like in the moment, I knew there was no question. Nobody was picking up what I was putting down. I was really, really gunning for Zoe. I knew she was my biggest opposition to winning. And she totally steamrolled me. So, from my conceded point of view, I mean, she's just playing incredibly. She never once did I think there was a chance that it was going to flip onto her. That's how in control of the moment it felt like she was. So yeah, Zoe's my number 1.
Zoe is also my number 1. All the things that we've said about her game up to this point, I feel like Zoe deserves all the praises. Just to point out, one of my favorite moments from Zoe, it kind of gets overshadowed by Hannah and Aubrey talking about their final 2. But there's a group, John, after you, Eli, and Hannah rejoin, like Carrie, Aubrey, Zoe, and I think Luke, and you rejoin them, and it's just kind of like a group banter back and forth, and Aubrey and Hannah break off, and Zoe, like they talk for a little bit. Hannah proposes the final 2, and Zoe darts right to them. And I just know, like, in her head, she's like, these people are going to be like the people that I need to make the move. So ignore this group. I'm going to go talk. So you just see her walk straight, beeline, and that's one of my favorite shots, at least from this most recent episode. It doesn't really get a lot of spotlight because it is, other storylines are going on over it, but the perceptiveness of where the discussions and where the important talk is going is that's massive for Zoe. So Zoe, congratulations. You are getting my top. You are getting John's top for this week. You are going to be the last person that is at the top for season 6, Bad Blood. We'll see how all the points calculate out. John, we'll see if your attempts to stop the vote this most recent week are come to fruition. But that is everything that we have to go over. John, any questions or anything else that we didn't cover in our 2-hour and 14-minute podcast?
No, Dom, I just want to like legitimately thank you. Like the community you have brought me into has just been like so special. Like I was at Josh and Hannah's wedding, like friends I never would have made that I now consider like lifelong friends, including you. Like what you've created here, I think is so cool and so special. So thank you for inviting me to play. It was an amazing experience. So much fun. Would do it again in a heartbeat, even though I'm going to be 30 this year. I mean, truly, like you've created something super special here.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm really excited to be able to rewatch this season without the stress of delivering it. So I'm excited to be on that other side of watching it with you guys. John, I said it on a podcast too. Like, I think you were the heartbeat of the season, of being able to show up, not knowing anybody, embrace the experience for what it is, challenge yourself, and come out with these lasting bonds and friendships. And I think the runtime of this podcast really speaks to that, of how we're able to just keep talking about it and gain something new out of the experience. And that's why I do it, is to be able to create these memories and create these relationships. And so I'm very excited to be able to keep moving through life and sharing these memories and building new ones. So yeah, that is my sign off, John. I appreciate your sign off. Just to update the fans one last time, I am unaware of when we will get this finale done. I'm really hoping I can get it done by next week. I will not have it done this week, so you guys can enjoy episode 2 of Survivor 50. No sweat, but keep an eye on social media, and I will be posting about that there. So, John, thank you so much for joining me tonight and spending your Sunday night with me. Hope you have a great rest of your night, everybody at home. That's all I have for you tonight. Head back to camp. Good night.